The whispers started subtly, like the rustling of forgotten leaves in the wind. They were unheard by the clamorous cities of Neo-Alexandria and the shimmering arcologies of Xylos Prime, but in the quiet corners of the world, where the old ways lingered like stubborn shadows, they were gaining strength. In the wind-swept steppes of the nomadic Khaganate, the shamans felt a prickling unease in the bones of the earth. In the secluded monasteries nestled high in the Himalayan peaks, the ancient chants took on a deeper resonance, a vibration that spoke of slumbering giants stirring in their sleep. For millennia, humanity had relegated the old gods to myth, to colorful tales spun around crackling fires. The rise of reason, the triumph of technology, had relegated them to the dusty shelves of history. Yet, beneath the veneer of scientific advancement, the primal forces that had birthed these deities still pulsed within the heart of the planet, waiting for the right resonance, the opportune moment. That moment arrived not with a cataclysmic roar, but with a series of seemingly unrelated anomalies. Weather patterns grew erratic, defying all predictive models. Strange geological formations erupted in previously stable zones. And then there were the dreams, vivid, unsettling visions that plagued artists and poets, imbuing their work with a raw, untamed energy that was both captivating and terrifying. Anya, a young astrophysicist stationed at a remote observatory in the Atacama Desert, was among the first to notice the shift in the cosmic background radiation. It wasn't a sudden burst, but a gradual, almost rhythmic pulsing, originating from deep within the Earth itself. Her rational mind struggled to comprehend it. The planet was geologically stable, its core well understood. Yet, the data screamed otherwise. Meanwhile, in a small fishing village clinging to the craggy coast of Norway, an elderly woman named Astrid, the village's self-proclaimed lore-keeper, felt a familiar tremor in her ancient bones. It was the same tremor her grandmother had described, the tremor that preceded the last awakening, a time shrouded in half-forgotten legends of sea serpents rising in storms that swallowed islands whole. Astrid knew what the scientists did not. The Earth was breathing again, and with its breath came the stirring of its ancient slumberers. The anomalies escalated. Tales of impossible creatures glimpsed in the deep oceans began to circulate. Whispers of forests that seemed to move and whisper back arose from the Amazon. The very laws of physics seemed to bend in localized areas, as if reality itself was becoming fluid, responsive to a force beyond human comprehension. Panic began to ripple through the global networks. Governments struggled to explain the inexplicable. Science offered theories that fell woefully short. It was then that the true nature of the anomalies began to dawn. The pulsating energy Anya had detected wasn't just a geological phenomenon. It was a resonance, a call, and the world was beginning to answer. From the frozen wastes of Antarctica, an ice sheet miles thick began to crack, and from the inky depths emerged something colossal, its form vaguely serpentine, its eyes glowing with an ancient, cold light. From the volcanic peaks of Indonesia, a being of fire and shadow unfurled vast, leathery wings, its roars echoing across the archipelago. From the heart of the deepest jungles, a creature of vine and earth, its limbs like ancient trees, stirred from its ageless rest. The old gods had awakened. They did not emerge with malice, nor with benevolence. They simply were, primal forces of nature given sentient form, their consciousness vast and alien, their motivations beyond human understanding. Their awakening was not an invasion, but a re-emergence, a reclaiming of a world that had, in their long sleep, become dominated by a fleeting species. Humanity, in its hubris, had forgotten its place in the grand tapestry of existence. They had built their world as if they were the sole inheritors, oblivious to the deeper currents that flowed beneath their feet. Now, confronted with the undeniable reality of powers beyond their control, they were forced to confront their own insignificance. There was no unified response. Some nations crumbled into chaos, their technological might rendered useless against the raw power of the awakened deities. Others sought to understand, sending desperate envoys to these ancient beings, hoping to find a way to coexist. Anya, along with Astrid and a handful of other individuals who had sensed the awakening, found themselves at the forefront of this desperate attempt at communication. They learned that the old gods were not interested in conquest or worship. They were manifestations of the planet's fundamental energies, and their awakening was a natural cycle, a rebalancing of the cosmic scales. Humanity's relentless expansion, their disregard for the delicate ecosystems, had triggered this re-emergence. The Earth itself was shifting, realigning, and humanity was caught in the middle. The path to survival, Anya and Astrid realized, lay not in fighting or fleeing, but in understanding and adaptation. Humanity had to learn to live in harmony with the primal forces of the planet, to respect the ancient rhythms, to acknowledge that they were but one thread in the vast and intricate cosmic loom. It was a humbling lesson, a painful stripping away of their anthropocentric worldview. Slowly, tentatively, a new understanding began to dawn. Humanity started to learn the language of the earth. The subtle shifts in energy, the patterns in the natural world that spoke of the old gods' presence. They began to integrate ancient wisdom with modern science, realizing that true progress lay not in domination, but in balance. The world would never be the same. The age of human supremacy had ended. A new era had begun, an era of coexistence, of respect for the ancient powers that slumbered beneath the surface, a constant reminder that humanity was a part of nature, not its master. Moral: true wisdom lies in recognizing our place within the larger order of the universe and living in harmony with the fundamental forces that shape our world, rather than seeking to dominate or ignore them. Humility and respect for the interconnectedness of all things are essential for long-term survival and well-being.